Hey, right, I guess so. While I'm waiting for people, hopefully I've done the stream right this time because I messed it up the last couple of days. Last night seemed to go fine though, so hopefully I can get working tonight. Hello, how are you doing? Good evening. I'm just getting set up because I have streaking grime on my hands and I don't want to go and touch a competition mare with streaking grime on my fingers. How are you both doing? Get some light on, shall we? There we go. That looks like a proper view. So I said last night that I would start on some freehands on here. I also am going to add a little parchment paper down there. But I've gone and stuck the parchment into the slot and got it stuck, so I need to ping it back out again. Maybe. I'll work it out in a bit. It'll probably fall out. But how are we all doing? So freehanding is what we're going to work on at the moment. And I'm going to try and do the papal cross keys for the emblem of York. And I'm also going to try and do this from memory because I don't have a second screen or image of it. So this should go, it should go, I don't know if it's going to go well or not. Anyway, let's get some bass tones down. So the cross keys of York and the papal armillary of the Archbishop is on a red background, so I'm going to use my fist on red to lay that down first and use my big brush. I don't actually want to paint the whole thing. I still want some brown coming through, so I'll just leave it roughly like that. And quite nice and bright. Stands out a lot against the rest of the mini, which I quite like. That's good. And I can dirty it down afterwards with a bit of a wash or two. Yeah, so I'll leave that to dry a sec. And I think while I'm waiting for that to dry, a bit of work on the LAN. So I'm going to need one of my little brushes again. Painting a lot of this in disposable brushes because I fine tip on them. I don't want to use my my nice brushes, my Kolinskis or anything like that, or my even my army painter ones that are, the very fine tips. They're pretty good. I've got somewhere here a Winsor & Newton Galleria that I don't fancy ruining. And now we're at the weathering stages. That is 100% a possibility that I slip, do something wrong, and completely murder a brush. Hello, Colonel. So I think you were probably the main person yesterday asking about freehands. Is that not correct? Am I roughly right on that? There is a minute delay. Oh, thank you as well. Thank you for joining as a member. I do appreciate it. There aren't many of you at the moment, but some things are coming that are exclusive to you. When you've seen this stream, go over and check out the members area. And yeah, I knew it was you. Yeah, go over and check out the members area, and you can catch the conversation that I had with Scanner Barclay about a week now ahead of everybody else, because it's coming next Saturday. Anyway, speaking of freehands, I've just got this drying at the moment, because that's the board I'm going to freehand onto. Now, if you weren't here at the start of the stream, I'm going to freehand the papal cross keys, which, as the name suggests, are 2 cross keys. And they, on the coat of arms for York, are on a red background, and there is a gold crown above them. The keys themselves are. So yeah, it'll be a lot of very small heraldry stuff that I'm doing, and not necessarily finishing touches. I've still got another day of this. But yeah, there'll be little bits of things. So we're waiting for that to dry, and while it is, because still a bit wet there, I'm going to be working on the little sheep around the front. I also probably need to change this palette paper out, because it's getting a lot of little tiny hairs on it and little bits of grass. So if you give me 1 sec, I will swap out my palette paper, and hopefully by that time I can start working on something good. Anyone working on anything else today? Anyone painting anything? Anyone doing a bit of hobbying themselves? Just before the stream started, I was working on a bit of terrain for some demo games. It's in its dirty down rust phase, in its streaking ground phase at the moment, and it's drying off. But yeah, we've got bits of terrain drying. Still need all the texture paints. By the way, Colonel, how's the sound? Or how is the sound for anyone? If I can't do much about the sound at the moment, I am working on correcting that. I've been speaking to Lakey over on Trench Talk. He's given me a couple of tips on audio. As I gather, that is it's part of one of his either hobbies or his full-time job. So it was nice to get a few tips from someone who knows what they're doing. No, you probably haven't lost my visual. I probably wandered off for a second to get this palette paper. The stream may be a little behind what I'm doing, I guess. If connections in your area are bad, or if connections in my area are bad. I need a bit of water to get this palette paper to sit. It's always good to have a bottle of water on hand when you're painting, especially with a water palette like this, but also just so you can have a drink. Everything needs smoothing back down. Get to painting. Sorry, I'm doing a bit of painting admin before I get started, and this palette paper is really not playing nicely, so that's annoying. Right, okay. Screen going a bit static and then coming back again. I hope that is not an issue for everyone. We had quite a few people join at the start of the stream. I would hate for it to be a barrier for people. I'd also hate it if this palette paper keeps being a pain, but what can you do? Sometimes equipment doesn't always go the way you want it to. Definitely user error. I'm just getting used to this new palette. I much prefer my Redgrass Games one. It's very much more easy to use. But this game envy gives you a nice surface area to work on. Anyway, enough waffling. I need to get to freehanding. So I am also going to need bold titanium white. Before I start painting, how are the visuals, people? Hello, Silver Sword. Yes, the Redgrass Games palettes. If you've got the portable one, I really like it. I really enjoy using the portable palettes from Redgrass. I've been trying out this Game Envy one because my brother bought it me for Christmas. He keeps buying me wet palettes, and I know he's probably watching, so I don't want to sound ungrateful, but I've got enough now, and I'll leave it at that. Anyway, so just check we. There we go. We're dry. So. Papal cross keys. I don't want very much water on my brush, and I need to pick a point, so I'm going to go from corner. Just draw a dot. And a dot. Maybe we'll make them a little bit bigger so you guys can see. Then I want a dot roughly about the middle to make that triangle. Because again, these are crossed keys. I need them to cross roughly in the middle. And then just up from there. So once you've got that, if anyone is trying to follow along, I will also clip this down into a shorter video for people to watch afterwards, so they can try and copy a bit of heraldry. Just connect the dots now. Doesn't have to be too neat straight away. We're not looking for neatness right now. All we're looking for is rough shapes. I think every freehand starts with rough shapes, no matter who is doing the freehand. Or at least that's what I'm going to keep telling myself, in the hopes that no one will prove me wrong. There's going to be some amazing painter in chat in a minute that's going to pop up and tell me everything you've just said is naff. Anyway, very rough shape there with the papal cross keys. So then we go back and we start refining that shape down. But while I'm waiting for that to dry, I'm going to move on to the crown at the top. So I said earlier on, the papal cross keys of York have a crown. Now, the middle of that crown is a burgundy, which, yeah, I thought that might happen. You absolutely can't see on the camera. Wonderful. But it only needs to be subtle. It is only a subtle burgundy from the actual background red of the cross keys. I use nice bit of Rune Lord brass as well to paint in those bits of the crown later on. Need to go back to my Mephiston red. For those of you sticking around to watch how I do this, how is everything looking? Can you see things that I'm doing clearly, or do I need to move things a bit closer, a bit further away? Apparently I've just dropped something, but I don't know what it was. So I want to try and make these roughly the same width. I also want to paint towards myself. Paint yourself when you're doing freehands, because it makes it a hell of a lot easier for you to control your brush strokes. And do small brush strokes often. If you can be deliberate in them and you can do one straight line and have that line done, yeah, that's the thing. So the burgundy is actually, if you look at the coat of arms that I posted up onto the channel earlier, the burgundy does get lost in the York one anyway, and it is just a small hint of burgundy. There we are. So I'm not too worried about the burgundy disappearing for the moment. I have just picked up a bit too much water on my brush there on that red, so there's every chance that this might run. Doesn't matter too much. I'm not too worried about it at this time, because all this is going to be refined and cut down anyway. So cap off the top of that key, make it the same size as that key. Then I can cut into the first key as that is dry. So we have a small mark here, small mark here, and a small one there. See, when it forms that rough key shape. So while I'm waiting for that red to dry over the other side, I need to move on to the actual crown, because that red's going to take a little bit of time to dry with it having a tiny bit of paint in it. Silver, if you're still in here, how are you as a painter? Are you someone who's just starting out? Do you use wet palettes a lot? Anything that you want to know about wet palettes? I mean, like I say, I keep getting bought them, so I know quite a few of the brands now. Same goes for anyone as well. Any questions you want to put in chat, please bang them in. I'm here for about another maybe 45 minutes to an hour. And I'm more than happy to answer questions if people would like to ask any. So now that should pick out that burgundy a bit. You should be able to notice it a bit better. Trying to remember the Crown of York now. I should say as well, I'm not from York. Obviously, many of you will have twigged I am British. But York is the papacy for my area, as I am in Yorkshire. So if you're wondering why I sound like Sean Bean, that's because I'm from the same city as Sean Bean. I also think that Sharp would be an incredible character in Trench Crusade. I think Sean Bean would die very well, as he does in all his other roles. And then let's move on to that Mephiston red again to refine that key shape. I am cleaning my brush off between uses of this. My water's off to the side, so if you are wondering, am I just going straight back in with a brush with all these different colours on it? No, I'm not. So you see how I'm very slowly moving the brush strokes into that white to cut off the white where I need it. You're better off starting, in my opinion anyway, further away from the line that you want to adjust and move slowly into that line to adjust it, rather than trying to go straight into the edge like I will try and do now and follow it from there. You can with practice. It's difficult even still for me, but then again I haven't done that many freehands. I don't actually do them with much regularity, to be honest, but I do enjoy doing them when I do. This is going to look a little bit messy. It's meant to, because it's on the back of an anchorite and it was drawn by pilgrims. They are not, I wouldn't say they were known for their art. Then again, I could be wrong. The pilgrims may very well be a very artistic bunch. Oh, right, so synthetic or regular brushes. At the moment, I'm using a synthetic brush and I'm using disposable brushes, but these are the army painter disposable brushes. But I will get out the nice one for you, and you can see how the difference between them and how they react. So a synthetic brush will get rid of its paint layers quicker because it doesn't have anything for the paint layers to seep into. So if you imagine like two sweeping brushes, a synthetic brush is a bit more like a yard brush. It won't gather too much. It'll brush a lot off. Anything that it has in the bristles will come out, whereas a horsehair brush or a sable brush like the one I'm using will hold paint in it longer. And sometimes you might want that, other times you might not. So what I've done there is I've accidentally cut too far into that key. So that key's shape needs redefining. So that's fine, I can do that now. And a lot of freehands will be, or a lot of heraldry freehands at least, will be do a thing, make a mistake doing said thing, and very slightly go over it again to re-establish an area for yourself to work from. So now I'll have to, as you can see there, it's a little bit less square than it was before. So I'll have to go back in, recut that shape down. But before I do that, I need to reconnect the neck there in that hole that I made. And I'm going to just widen this key's top, or key head, or whatever they're called. So that I can have a bit more room to cut into. Hello, James. I was wondering when you were going to catch a live, because I know you've caught a couple of the live chats in the video releases, but I hadn't seen you in here yet. Although Crispy was in last night, but then again, Crispy's in every content creator streams, and I wonder if that'll summon him. I wonder if you speak of Crispy and he appears. So, very rough shape there. Hold on. No, you're not also Crispy Crusader, because you were talking to Crispy in a chat the other day. So if you're both accounts, I'd be very, very surprised and really confused. Shields suit the model really well, or the close-ups of the shield's image. That's the shield's image. So a bit of a background on this model, how this model came about. So you probably all know that this anchorite isn't it's made out of official anchorite parts. So it's made from, this is a much bigger anchorite than a standard anchorite. Please don't think this is a normal scale representation of them. They're not that big. So this anchorite here, I had blown up to 125% scale because I was going to use it as a grand anchorite in the the War Pilgrimage of St. Methodius. I like the procession of Sacred Affliction, so everything gets called procession, even the cavalcade, and they are all different names. Anyway, so I also had this idea for another shrine anchorite that was, in the lore, we know that the heavy mechanized infantry are based on the anchorite designs after Brother Akakios flees the destruction of the old monastery, and he takes the designs to Mount Athos, I believe. He escapes, goes there, takes the designs, but the princes of the church aren't necessarily too bothered over recreating the anchorites, and I may be wrong here, but this is my take on it, that they're already working on the heavy machine infantry, machine armor, and it's based on those designs. So at some point it stands to reason that a shrine anchorite must have looked like a heavy machine armor, and a heavy machine armor must have looked like a shrine anchorite. So that's a normal size machine armor with a 75% scale shrine anchorite, and then I've sawn the legs off and I've attached the arms and I've made a machine armor anchorite. That is actually going to be my war prophet for my procession of Sacred Affliction. He's going to be carrying a holy relic shield, and he's going to be in reinforced armor, so it works. And then this anchorite is a 150% scale. Yeah, more than likely, yeah. So more than likely, I would assume that the central chest cavity, even though they are built out slightly different, is probably similar. Obviously, inside the heavy mechanized armor, there's just a person's torso, so it doesn't need to be as big and blocky. Whereas I gather from the proportions of an anchorite and stuff like that, the whole person that is piloting it is in the head and body kind of maybe not sat down, but piloting it with like levers and pulleys and things. Oh, what was I doing? I've distracted myself. Oh, freehand. Yeah, if people get me talking about law, I will absolutely not get this done in time, and I'll just carry on talking about law, which is fine. I mean, that's what most people came to the channel for. But yeah, it would be nice if I could actually take something to this competition on the weekend. If anyone's in the UK and they are at Chilcon, come and say hello. Because I've got a few things going off at Chilcon, a couple of interesting bits. I'll be doing some demo games of Trench Crusade, because I'm the demo person for my local community. Oh, naff. I've cut too much out of that key. So we go back to painting white again. This is going to be me slowly losing my mind over the next 40 minutes, trying to paint the Papal Cross keys, which is pretty much exactly what you do every time you freehand. slowly lose the will, I guess. So somehow I've managed to make that back into a perfect square by just dabbing it. But I can't get that one correct. Always happens. I always find that one side of a freehand, of a heraldry freehand, will go much more awkwardly than the other. And it's probably down to handedness and how you approach the angle that you're working from. Anyway, let me focus for a sec here. Stop boring you all. So, issue that I've hit here, I'll bring it closer for you. So, I've got the space to make the top two, but this small line here isn't deep enough for me to cut the third piece of the key head in. So, I need to add another line of white. This is going to continue ad nauseum until I eventually go to bed, I imagine. Has anyone been working on anything today? Or is anyone at work? I know Colonel is. There we are, rough shape of the keys. Now it's all down to refining said shape of keys. I should have probably done this on a bigger piece of the Mini. But, oh well, you live and learn. And also, it's for a comp, so why not push yourself? I can see out the corner of my eye someone has just messaged the chat. I apologise because I'm not going to reply straight away, as I am trying not to draw a massive white line in the wrong spot. So I shall be with you shortly. Oh, you're painting my mini factory entry. What are you painting? So I entered this in its, I guess its first stages. And in its first stages, it won a local competition. It was the only thing that was entered into said local competition. However, I'm claiming it as a victory and no one's taking it away from me. But yeah, so its original iteration is in the My Mini Factory comp. Oh, tomorrow's the deadline. Ah, right. Do you know, I wonder, and you know, if anyone here is from the official Discord, please don't think I'm throwing shade. I wonder what happened with the official Discord one, because I entered that, and I'm just curious because I'd just like to see. Oh, hello, Kill Count. How are you doing? I'd just like to see who won, who got sort of places and stuff in the main Discords comp. I gather it's still in the judging phases, and I think it's is it Romulan and Pat who's doing the judging? So I imagine that the judges are just very, very busy. So we'll probably get an update on that, I hope, shortly. But, you know, doesn't really matter at the moment. So you are doing the mechanized heavy infantry that the Knights of Avery use. Oh, okay. I see. I think what I need to do now is the bottom of the cross keys. So the bottom of the cross keys is like a kind of wheel. like a weird bulb. And again, this will need refining in a moment, because I am working off memory. Ah, I might have. Maybe I've seen your trench ghosts. I'll have to have a look on them. In fact, I might do a little reaction video to it and talk about how how I think it went and stuff like that. Like, not obviously saying who I think should have won, but it'd just be nice to give everyone a spotlight on the entries, because I'm not sure whether that's actually going to be the case. I don't know if the My Mini Factory team are working with a YouTuber to publicise it or anything. There we go. So now, dotted in the bottom of the keys. Need to correct part of said key. By the way, just for anyone that may be unaware, the chat is on a 60-second timer. So if you send in a message and you're wondering why I haven't responded or anything like that, it's just because it's on a timer, so that while I'm painting, if I am focusing on something, I'm not quite as distracted by the chat, even though, you know, I do appreciate you all being here and I do want to speak with you all. As I say, I'm also painting for a competition, so I'd like my entry to be at least somewhat passable. And if I start speaking about lore for ever, for one thing, I'll run out all my mobile data if my Wi-Fi cuts out. And secondly, I won't get done on time. So, what I'm going to do now is I'm thinning down opposite sides of the key. Again, this gets quite delicate, so bear with me if you do message. Ah, right. The Ubasi captain is probably... So, the Ubasi captain, for me, is a really nice concept, a cool model, but I don't like the artwork, even though the model is mirrored on the artwork. And that's because if you look at the arm holding the cannon, it looks to me like that arm's on backwards. It's just a perspective thing from how I kind of see it, but yeah. If anyone agrees with me, I don't know. How's that looking? Are we looking key-shaped, do we think? I will point out as well that this is the first time I've ever decided to try the Papal Cross keys. Yeah, I think once I point it out to people, I sort of slightly ruin the artwork for them, and I do feel bad because I you know, like I say, I very, very slightly ruined a very nice piece of artwork for someone. But it does to me look like that right arm is going backwards rather than being actually attached in the way it would normally be. Looks like the elbow is coming forward and the wrist is going back, so it looks like his arm's bent backwards. Then again, though, I think my arm would be bent backwards if I carried a literal cannon halberd in one hand, while some sort of weird, demented, half-naked harpy pigeon sat on my shoulder. I imagine that the attack wing creatures that the Ubezi captains have, the little harpy things, I imagine they have a really annoying voice. I don't know why, but I imagine that they sound a bit like a Saturday morning cartoon villain. And I'm completely here for that. That is, quite funny, but I don't think that's the I don't think that's the original intention. So, one of the good things about these little disposable brushes, once you've ripped you can just take out the bristles of them. It also means you can just shift paint around on your palette with that bit of bristle. Sorry, with that stick, or you can use it as a stirrer. To stir paint. Alright, so some of you might be a bit confused why I'm using grey. So I thinned out those keys earlier. And if you look on the cross keys of York, I need to brace for this, so hang on. There is a bit of an element of a grey line. Now, the reason I did opposites, or partly opposites, yeah, I get that. Like, you would want him to be kind of a bit more commanding, and I can see how removing the harpy from the arm there would give you an element of that. So yeah, I think if I were to have you Ubezi captain, I'm not going to. My Sultanate warband is House of Wisdom, so I cannot have the Ubezi, but I do get really good attack wing creatures. Oop. So, at the moment, it looks like some sort of weird X is going off, yeah? So I'm going to follow that line there. Cut the one key off from the other. Yes, so the House of Wisdom can be led by 2 alchemists, actually. You can take 2. And I misread the Papal States Intervention Forces rules, and I thought they mirrored the House of Wisdom, and you could take 2 trench clerics. So for the first game or so of our campaign, first 2 games, I had an illegal list because I had 2 clerics, and then I just had to turn him into a lieutenant instead. And then the first game that guy went out as a lieutenant, he got shell-shocked and wasn't allowed in the 3rd game, which was wonderful. So I was down a man in the third game because he didn't like loud noises anymore. And it very nearly lost me the game. Not that winning matters in a campaign. It's much more of a have fun with your mates kind of thing. But you know, a win's nice every now and again. Fortunately for me as well, I very rarely actually lost in our current campaign. There we go. Some papal keys are starting to form. What I'll probably do on the next one up here is I'll do a little. What I might show you how to do is split the board up as well into 4. A lot of this just takes a bit of care over the details and very deliberate brush strokes with the very tip of the brush. What I find when working with, similar to how I was talking about the refining the lines earlier on and moving into the line to cut into it, I find if I'm doing a really small detailed piece, I'll actually kind of start my brush stroke a little bit away from where I am and very gradually move closer. So I only want the very tip of the brush to impact the area. Hopefully that makes sense. Now, because I've got quite a lot of grey and black down in that area, I need to redefine those whites. So by the way, guys, if any of you watched the podcast where with Thomas, and if any of you have joined as members and you've watched the podcast with Scanner, how do you think they're going? Do you enjoy those sort of podcast style conversations with people? Any suggestions on guests you'd like to see? I might be speaking to one or two YouTubers in a adjacent game space for them to come on the show. One of them I'm really looking forward to talking. In fact, two of them are. Both of them I'm really looking forward to talking to. I'll be seeing one this Saturday at ChillCon. In fact, I'll be seeing them both at ChillCon actually, if I can get the time to speak to them. But one of them is a well-known painter of things. I will say that without spoiling too much. I really enjoyed the one with Thomas. I was very nervous for it. I'm not going to lie, because it was episode 1. And I've just erased part of what I've done. Right, do that again. Yeah, so the episode with Thomas was really fun. There was a lot of lore in it, and I'm not sure how many other people on podcasts with him. I certainly haven't seen very many people talk quite the amount of lore and things that we did. Lore, rules, gameplay, also how the game came about. Seems like a lot of other podcasts I've seen him on, there's just a general chat with him, which is obviously, we'd love to know a bit more about him and stuff like that, and I do enjoy those conversations. But for me, I thought, well, there's a space here to ask about how certain things came about. Looking at that I that I did that because I won't say what these cross keys look like, as I don't want to get demonetized. I may change those cross keys out for something different. I'm not particularly happy with them. Hello, Scanner. How are you doing? I wasn't aware you were catching the stream tonight. There are only 8 of us in here, so I doubt you'll get inundated with questions. But it is nice to see you, mate. I'm doing well. How are you? Someone left as I responded to Scanner, and I like the idea that he just jumped in to say hello, and it's him that's left. I don't think he has left. I think he's still here, but that would be funny that he just dropped in, said hi, and went. Yeah, man, you're more than welcome. You're more than welcome anytime on any stream that I do. So I was just saying that I'm doing these papal cross keys at the moment. I don't know if you know the what are they called? The armories? No, not armories. Armillaries of the churches of the bishops. But there's a couple of them, and I was doing the papal cross keys for York. As obviously as a Yorkshireman, I'm not going to do anything different really. If there was a South Yorkshire one, I would have done that. But yeah, I reckon I am actually just going to change this because it is a competition entry. Sadly, everything does have to be the same standard, and I don't believe that this freehand is at the same standard as the rest. So that is a shame, as that is 54 minutes of wasted painting. Well, not wasted, interesting painting, and also good conversation. But yeah, let's swap this up. Someone's going to be in the chat. I'd have just done that. Yeah, so I occasionally, actually, let me just get this night. So you may hear a bit of noise a sec while I'm moving around. Occasionally I'll test myself and I'll try and push a bit of a boundary for myself and try to freehand an artwork I like. So some of the artists I really, really enjoy the work of are Dali and Hokusai, Van Gogh as well. So a while ago, I did the persistence of memory on that shit. I'll leave it in frame a little longer. It isn't finished, as you can see, but it's only on an Imperial Knight shoulder pad, and yeah, you have to make some changes to those freehands of any scale. I would show you the Great Wave, Hokusai's Great Wave, but it's in the other room of banging around. If someone would like to remind me in the comments of the post for tomorrow night, bring Hokusai's Great Wave to tomorrow's stream, I will do that for you, because I will inevitably forget. But yes, I do like copying artworks every now and again, and if Mike was to see this for somehow and enjoy my rendition of his artwork, that'd be pretty cool. He may also equally turn around and go, "That looks crap. You've completely ruined what I spent ages on." But would you believe that it only took me an hour and a half, I think, for that shield, and it's not going to get any further refinement. I'm really happy with it. Let's split up this. So splitting a piece, just do little dots to get your lines. Then you can follow said lines. Nice and easy, right? Yeah, like, you know, it's weird, isn't it, how practice kind of just makes you a little bit better at something. Although I don't know what happened with that freehand, because that was definitely not better. Well, I did a freehand tutorial. I was teaching a freehand tutorial this weekend, and we did this in about 3 hours. I do like my landscapes. Landscapes are very, very, very forgiving to paint. Obviously, these clouds need a bit of refinement and stuff, but I've got a nice glow effect on the hills. The trees have a nice distance to them, nice depth. Yeah, one thing that anyone from anywhere in the British Isles and also the area around England and the Channel Isles and Ireland is good at is sarcasm. It's like an Olympic sport for this very localized area of Great Britain, Ireland, and the Channel Islands. But yeah, like it is weird how, you know, I wouldn't have thought a few years ago, because I only got back into miniature painting 6 years ago, and honestly, the skill level I was at back then 6 years ago was crap. So this is like one of my orcs from about 12, 13 years ago, one of the only things I actually painted, because most of my stuff was grey. And within 6 years, I'm at this level, which obviously is not, it's a massive jump. I'm no Golden Demon winner, but, you know, it's getting a bit of practicing when you can. Even if it's on something small, like a little shield here and there, or just testing something out and seeing if it works. A couple of hours a night will bring you on massively. There we go. That's how you split a shield for working with heraldry. Do some dots, establish 2 boxes or whatever sort of rough shape you work into, then cut it up from there. So after the crap cross keys, I think I'll do a castle instead. So castles, do your dots, connect said dots, make a rough box, colour in said box. Then we clean up around it, make it a bit more square. Once you've got your square bit of castle, you do a little doorway. Cleaning off your brush because you need a good brush tip for this. Get a tiny bit of paint, not too much. Near to the top, straight line across. I've cut into the white a bit too far there, so I'm just going to redefine that. There you go. Go back to your background colour. Little window. Another little window. Mini upside down. Turrets, castle. What, 5 minutes for that? Pretty quick through them. And then just clean up the rest, so make it a bit more square if you need to make it squared off. And then what should we do up here? I can split it. I can do a double-headed axe. I can do a sword. I could try a fleur-de-lis on something that small. What should we do? Someone put something in chat. Something reasonable, not a Welsh not a Welsh charging dragon, because I've never done that and that'd be really hard. But yeah, suggest something for that little tiny box up there. Fleur-de-lis, sword, double-headed axe, another castle. What are we thinking? I mean, I could do a fly swatter, but make it look like a make it look like a trench shovel. No, I'll do that on something else that's not a competition entry, but I will do a fly swatter for you at some point, and I'll have it. I might have a fly swatter on a Black Grail model. You mean like a yeah, actually, we could do the Templar cross. You know, the oh, what are they called? Maltese cross. Yeah, let's try a Maltese cross. Well, let's try, and I'll just give you a bit of a view. See, this this is stuck in there. I don't know how to get it out without messing it up. Yes, so the shrines are meant to be ancient. When did the shrine anchorites actually get made? So it was under Saint Methodius made them, but I can't remember when. I know it was after. Scanner, if you're still in chat, do you remember when St. Methodius made the first anchorites, like 14 something, I think, wasn't it? Not that it's at all relevant, but I do like to sort of pub quiz myself. Speaking of pub quizzes, I've got a fun little video coming up with a couple of people doing some like a quiz night question on the pod. Yeah, that's stuck in there. Oh, that's going to be a pain to remove. I could just glue it in and leave it there. Don't think I'm going to, but probably should. That's nearly dry. While it's drying, what can I do? Because I'm just quite literally waiting for paint to dry and talking nonsense. I reckon I will clean up that a bit. Clean up that black. There we go. Oh, we're nearly dry. Maltese cross, that's what we're doing, yeah? So, trying to think of the best way to do this. It's probably going to be with straight lines for now. No, I think there actually is. I seem to remember shrine anchorites, because Saint Eligius makes the formula for orichalcum under the he helps people get the formula for orichalcum, and Saint Methodius. There's definitely something on when he makes, or when the first anchorites arrive on the battlefield. Like I say, though, I could be wrong. I need to redo that as well. Because I've messed up already. The nice thing is when you're working with black and oops, sorry, I've gone out of focus. The nice thing is when you're working with black and white, it's really easy to cover over and just do again. Just takes ages though. I know what I'll do while I'm waiting for that black to dry again. I will do a bit of Runelord brass. Hello, Molly. Not quite. Oh, there we go. Hooray, Trench Crusade. I was a little bit confused about that message then. I was like, "Hi, I'm not sure what you mean." I like how possibly could have been. I mean, who doesn't channel a saint every now and again? Good old bit of saint channeling in the trenches. You know, pilgrims get bored one night, channel a saint. Somebody says the wrong name, ends up channeling a demon. They get burned as a witch. Everybody has a laugh. Go and fight a werewolf. Oh, you're expecting Court of the Seven-Headed Serpent? well, look what I painted the other day, and the tutorial for them is going to be on the channel very soon. So if you'd like to learn how to do very quick and easy Grimdark Court of the Seven-Headed Serpent, expect that coming along not too distant in the future. Yeah, well, it's going to be the first video where I do a full warband at once. So I'm going to do a Yoke Fiend, probably going to do another Yoke Fiend, a Sorcerer, a Hell Knight. The Desecrated Saint, I've got 2 Desecrated Saints. I'm kit bashing a Prey kit bash video, but I'm kit bashing it with official parts. And what else am I putting? A Hell Knight, yeah. I've got everything for him. Oh, so Villainy Inks, right. So which Villainy Inks have you got? Because I had a play with those the other day, and I have some opinions. So let's talk Villainy Inks starter set. Which one? There's 2. Is it the one with the like the crimson in it? And I think it's crimson, and there's one that's a bit like Dirty Down volume. Right, okay, volume 1. So I have the crimson one they did, the crimson Villainy ink, and they're enamel washers. They're enamel paints, but some of them are like an enamel effect. And the blood one is a really nice enamel, but it has bits in. But the bits are quite useful for stuff like flesh tones. So the flesh tone on that was white bone or wraith bone spray primer, then some Gilliman flesh for a bit of depth, then over that with Villainy Inks crimson, then varnish it. So varnish it before you do Villainy Inks, then stick on the Villainy ink. Once the Villainy ink is dry, and then you rub it off and you get the effect you want, varnish it again before putting on a streaking grime. So if you don't varnish it between those 3 layers, you're going to end up rubbing off the previous layer. Enamels and things like that and inks take a little bit of a while to get the hang of. Once you've got the hang of them, though, they can be really, really nice, versatile paints to work with. And I think you'll really enjoy painting with them. Right, so here we are, back to the Maltese cross. So I'm trying to think of a Black Templar's cross. Oh, Dark Oath. Dark Oath will look nice with some. See, the great thing is with enamels and washes as heavy as that, you don't need to do a lot of base underpainting. So you just need to put the basic layer. Oh, right, okay. Red Villainy effect paint to make an irradiated skin. I don't have my Communicant Anti-Tank Hunter with me, but I've gone with the, because he's in the other room, I've gone with the more traditional pale blue skin. And at some point I will do all the scripture writing on it. So that'll be a pain. But we'll get there. So I reckon for this Maltese cross, again, I've never done a Maltese cross before. And I'm aware it probably should be tilted. But I've done that now, and it's staying like that, because I'm not painting black over again and redoing it. The Maltese cross itself is made up of actually kind of tiny triangles. So I'll get my cross shape, and I want to just flare that out a little bit. And flare it out a little bit. And these can be massive and messy for now, because we're going to cut back into them later on. If I've sent anyone to sleep, but they're still watching the stream, good morning, and thank you for sticking around. Because I will admit, even though a painting stream is nice, it can get a bit boring for the viewer, can't they? You are just watching paint dry, you are just listening to one guy slowly go crazy. Oh, are you painting now? What are you painting at the moment then, Molly? I think... Ooh, Warlord Titan. Adeptus Titanicus. I'm glad the guy that does my printing isn't in the chat. He probably is actually. He's probably just hiding until someone mentions Adeptus Titanicus. Gareth, if you're in here, this isn't going to turn into an Adeptus Titanicus stream, mate. I'm sorry, because I know how much you like talking about Horus Heresy and Adeptus Titanicus. Thankfully, 2 games I have not played yet. Molly, when did you come into the chat? Did you see my my knight earlier on, my Imperial Knight? In fact, sometimes I'm joined in the stream by sometimes this guy is in the back of the stream, and I'll put him back because I gather people like to see him. There we go. That's my Chaos Knight, or one of them. Well, he's my only actual Chaos Knight. He's called Rotulus Blot, the Faith Eater. And he just stomps around one-shotting other knights because he's a desecrator. It is lovely, isn't it? You know, in that odd sort of paused way of speaking about it. Good night, Scanner. I will speak to you soon. Hopefully. Also, you an hour behind in Ireland, so you're I don't know what the time zone's like, if there is a difference. But yeah, I will catch you soon, mate. And thank you for dropping by. I was not expecting to see you around in my streams for probably quite some time. Ah, same time as me. Fair enough. See you later, mate. You have a good evening. So I'm liking that general shape at the minute. Good night, Molly. Thank you for stopping in. I hope I'll see you around the streams again. And come back tomorrow night, same time. I'm going to be finishing this off. And if I had hair, I'd be pulling it out. I don't think the prospects are looking good for my beard, though, tomorrow night. Because I might start pulling that out instead. I've just twigged. Yep. I was just about to say, I've just realised you're talking to Scanner. Not saying goodbye yourself in the stream. And now I feel like a bit of a tit. Oh well. Anyway, what was I going to say? If anyone is in the UK, I am at Chilcon this weekend doing some demonstrations of Trench Crusade. If you are local to my gaming club, I will be doing some painting tutorials at that as well, which I will announce nearer the time. So any one of you is more. I think once I've finished this. Oh, you're in the distant past. So let me guess. I reckon with you saying distant past, I reckon you're either in LA or in that sort of time zone, or you may be even past that towards more Hawaii sort of time zone. Yeah, see, Colonel, that's not a good excuse, mate. I expect you to get on a plane. I mean, if you set off now, you might make it in time for 8 a.m. On oh, that's got white in. You might make it in time on Saturday. I expect no excuses or jet lag. I will see you there. I would find it frankly hilarious if almost anyone in America could tell me where Sheffield was on a map. We are a sort of well-known city, but we've gone under the radar. Look at you, you'll all be in the same bloody time zone. I mean, I'm glad that I get American viewers. Oh, mate, I don't envy that. I really don't envy that. Yeah, the prices for what we call uni in America, college, are disgustingly extortionate, mate. I don't envy you at all. So, looks like through various cutting away and doing a bit of this, bit of that over the course of about 30 or so minutes, I'm now getting what resembles a bit of a Maltese cross. Yeah, just, oh God, focus is really wonky on this. Just needs a bit more refining, so I know all I need to do is keep widening that again. Yeah, the thing is, most people in the UK, we will get that you'll probably mean university. Because also we just have some people, adults, go to college as well in their adult life for whatever reason they missed out when they were younger. All this is just cutting into it, refining, cutting into it. Oh, stop going out of focus. That's why I moved that night yesterday. He kept pulling focus. I do like it, but he isn't half an attention hog. Well, you should see his mate, the the Chaos Lord, and take him with me. Oh, actually, I don't think many of you have seen this. My old One Eye, or old One Eye. There we go. Let's have a better look at his face. He will eventually get made. Well, finished. He's already made, obviously. And then I'm doing a Chaos Night raffle as well later this year. So we have the work in progress night. So he's modelled off of the artwork of Nurgle, where he's stood at the cauldron and he's crowned with teeth. Only these are more human teeth, not the sort of fang-like teeth that Nurgle has on his. I guess where his lapels would be, were he not naked. Yeah, there are a lot of grimdark vibes going around at the moment, aren't there? The collar on this, it's teeth. Let me just give you a better look. So they are teeth. Can you see that now, Colonel? Why not have teeth? He's a big old Nurgle knight. He needs to eat. Hello, Braden. I'm not sure if you've been in the stream a while or if you've only just dropped in, but hello. You have said, well, hold on. Hello, Chris. How are you doing? Yes. So you might recognise it a little bit, but he's changed since you saw him last Sunday. He's changed quite a lot over the last couple of evenings. I hope you enjoyed our little intro game. Yeah. Well, Braden, welcome to the stream. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be here because freehanding has driven me slightly crazy tonight. As you can see, I've actually done 4 freehands tonight on 3 shields. That's because that one got completely overwritten, and I did something different. And this Maltese cross is being a pain in the arse, and is in the very real risk of also being overwritten for being an annoyance. Oh, of course. As soon as I say that, I go and do a big blob on it and ruin it. Yeah. Tell you what, let's fill this in. Let's do something different. The one thing I like about, these freehands, because they're only so small, a mess up is really easy to fix. Yeah, I reckon I'm gonna do just do a black and white cross on there, or maybe I'll do the cross of St. George. Yeah, cross of St. George should be good, because this night after, sorry, this anchorite, we've been talking about knights earlier on. This anchorite, after all, is a British anchorite. Well, I say British. Britain doesn't exist in Trench Crusade. It is England or the Crown. By the way, what did people think of the new law for the moving fortress of Britannia? I really enjoyed the law of it. But yeah, what do you guys think? I'm excited to see sort of new law come about on the history of Trench Crusade. Oh, I said I was going to do the St. George Cross on that, didn't I? Ah, naff. Yeah, the little law drops and things, I think they are really interesting. I know Mordheim, and I really would have liked to have. But if you are a fan of Mordheim, if you are a fan of Trench Crusade, I can't say very much at the moment. Not because I'm under an NDA or anything like that, or because the creators have asked me not to mention it. It's just because I've come up with quite a nice little idea of how to reveal it on the channel. I'm working with some developers on a game in America at the moment. It's Trench Crusade adjacent. I'll say that for now. It's a little bit Mordheim, a little bit Trench Crusade, and it's a lot fun. So sometime in April, there'll be a drop of 10 videos. They're going to be hidden on a secret part of the channel. And you'll get to see them later on in April. And it will introduce the lore of this game and the how to paint some of its characters. But leading up to the release, you might see some like weird things happen in my videos. So in which video was it now? One of my recent lore videos, I can't remember which one. There was a very quick flash of some artwork. But equally on a painting stream, you might just see a mini off to the side that could be from a different game. So I want you to all do a little bit of detective work, and just kind of a bit of a sort of see if you can guess what I'm working on and who I'm working with. I'm honestly excited for you all to get a bit more information on it as well. This game is looking really interesting. Yeah, so if anybody is in the comment sections of the videos and they they see a bit that they think might be linked to this upcoming project I'm working on, bang it in the comments like Crispy did the other day. Try and highlight it to people. Like, speculate, start a conversation amongst yourselves, and sort of see, like I say, if you can guess who I'm working with, or what game company I'm working with coming up, because I'm excited to work with them. They're excited to work with me. As far as I'm aware, anyway. I haven't annoyed them yet by rambling on. But I'm meeting them tomorrow. We've got an evening meeting just before the stream, and we're going to talk about some upcoming things. A narrative video will be dropping. So if you're fans of the Tales of a War Prophet or Witch Burning Heroes investigation series, you're going to immediately out of the gate get a in-universe lore explanation and story in this game as well. Thank you. Yeah, I was really taken aback that, because I just cheekily reached out to them, having seen some artworks, and I thought, I know what I'll do. I'll go to them and be like, oh, up and coming YouTuber. I say up and coming. There's only a few of you that actually know me, but I went to them and said, I've got a YouTube channel. I've covered Trench Crusade at the moment. I gather you're fans of Trench Crusade, and I like your artworks. I like the work you're doing. I'd like to work with you. Could I maybe do a video for you around the announcement? And they kind of turned around and went, do you know what? Yeah, let's just work together. We like your videos. We'll do this, and this. They agreed to some, frankly, baffling things to agree to a small creator. So I've got some creative scope. And yeah, I'm going to be doing a few things very shortly with a company that are some very cool people that are giving me some creative freedom. So I'll have no end of time for those guys when we start dropping some lore on you. Yeah. There will be, I believe at the minute, I'm just working on 10 videos for them. Obviously, there's going to be more videos after that 10. Oh, thank you, Colonel. Honestly, like, a little bit of support goes a massively long way. Hey, Titan trim's done. Wonderful. Honestly, getting the trim done on a knight or a Titan is a massive achievement. But yeah, going back to what you were saying, Colonel, thank you. Even a little bit of support is massively appreciated. Like, yeah, people. I don't want to say, like, people don't realize how much it sort of means. Obviously, people know that it's massive for a small creator to get a little bit of not a following, but people recommending me to people. But yeah, I really do appreciate it. I was going to head off. I was, because it's an hour and 40 into the stream. But I kind of don't fancy it. So, what else should we paint? Because I've been working on some terrain. I've got some Death Guard up there. I've got some couple of other things. But yeah, I feel like we're having a nice little conversation. There's only 9 of us. It's a decent amount of space to chat. I don't have any of the Trench Crusade minis near me, so I can't do those. No, I don't have anything arm's reach. Oh well, I'll carry on with the Anchorite. Tell you what, we'll go for probably another 15 minutes, and then I'll shoot off for the night. Oh, James, mate, drop. What model did you drop? Clean break. Oh, clean breaks aren't so bad. Clean breaks can be hidden with super glue and patience. But what was the model? Because even clean breaks and super glue and patience might be a bit techie on some things. So yeah, man, what did you drop? Share with the class. Oh, mate, I feel for you because mechanized heavy infantry are a chunky thing. They're a chunky model, but yeah, when they snap, they'll go. Out of curiosity. Oh, yeah, yeah, fair. If it's fixable, that's not so bad. So what I'm doing now is I'm going into a couple of those freehands and I'm just doing like little scratches into them. Do you know what though? At least you're prepared. You know that it's an issue, and for some people they've just got to do that bit of prep. And yeah, maybe sometimes it is annoying to have that prep work have to be done. But at least you had it. At least you had it there and sorted. There you go. Have a closer look at it if you like. So that shield freehand took me about an hour and a half, and it was a couple of glazes to get the background, and then all once you've got the background, all you were doing is so you work from like a dark grey, and then you mix in lighter and lighter greys to a white, and you get to here, and then you mix in light grey with something like a Mournfang brown, and then you go into darker browns, and then you go back to Mournfang brown here, and you define shapes. Then I went in with Rhinox hide and just did big sweeping strokes with the brush, carved out that gate like I did with the castle earlier on, and then this is just little drags of white, and then you get that shape, because from afar, you know, you're not going to know necessarily what it is. Do you know, I find freehanding larger things a lot easier than so freehanding a fresco or a you know, kind of a large landscape painting is a hell of a lot easier than doing small heraldries. Like you've just seen me absolutely cock up 2 freehands in an hour and a half, and then in the same amount of time I did that. So that should show you what the difference is between them. Chris, I've not ignored that comment. I have seen it. So glazes, I'm going to be doing some glazes on this. Let me get a model that I can show you how to glaze on. So, actually, do you know what? I could stay up and do a freehand on this, but I also do need to sleep. Tell you what, cover that over with black. Cover that over with black because it's not going to be the freehand on it anyway. I just did that as a demonstration for somebody last night on stream. So cover that over. I'll come back to that. And so the name of the Discord, if you go into the members area, you should find it linked in there. If people can't find it linked in there, I will have to go back into the settings of the members and redo it for you all. But you should be able to find the link straight into Discord from the members section. I'll also put a post out. Probably late. I found it. Yeah, there aren't many of us in it. I think Crispy got a bit lost and couldn't find it as well. And who else? There's a couple of us in there. There are at least a few mods as well, so they're there for when I need them. If anyone does want to jump into the Discord, you know, it is you know, members only Discord because you know I don't want bots and anything getting in and annoying people. I also want a bit more sort of control over who jumps in, who jumps out. You know, you don't want people that are going to be trying to spoil the community a little bit that I want to build in there jumping in. But if anybody does join the memberships, have a dig around on the memberships page, and then, like I say, I'll put a post out for it as well, and that will take you into the Discord. Yeah, so a friend of mine is a quite a large YouTuber in the 40k space. I won't say his name because I don't, you know, I'm not a name dropper or a clout chaser or anything like that. But he originally had an open Discord a few years ago, and we were just getting bots in it all the time. So I've only got to know him through the channel, being a member of the channel, his channel for years though. And it got to that stage where he just had to lock it off because he was getting spam accounts, bot accounts. People were dropping in all manner of like weird links and things, and just you know, he already had community guidelines and things, but because he'd only just started the Discord then himself, he didn't have a lot of mods, and now he's got like 7,000 people or something, and it's ridiculous. But yeah, so I just wanted to avoid that. Yeah, and that is the shame of it, isn't it? You know, that you do get some people who have this kind of idea that that kind of main character syndrome, isn't it? They want to jump in and they want to make something about themselves, or they want to kind of maybe use that platform to trick people or try and get something out of them, by putting weird links into stuff that's going to harm people's data. I believe, although no one got caught out with it, there were some trying to link people to things that would have stolen, like financial details and things. Really, just rather not deal with it and cut that right off at the pass before it can even begin. So it is possibly because you've just joined. Usually Discord has a like a little bit of a, I guess, timeout thing. If you've gone into the rules, there should be a box at the bottom of the rules on the Discord page to accept the rules of the Discord, and then you should be able to see, what is admittedly quite a barren Discord. But I'm at Chilcon this weekend, and I'll be working on the Discord as well. Once I get back from that, so you should see some more things pop up in that soon. Chris, if you're still in the Discord, I know you're going to Chilcon. Are you going to salute this year? No worries, Colonel. I will endeavour to fix it for all the members very quickly because, I don't want to be asking people to pay for a service that they can't access a part of. That's not something I want to be engaging in or doing. So thank you for letting me know anyway that it wasn't allowing you to see things, because if you can't see it, there's a fair chance other people can't as well. So there's a definite chance I've done something wrong, in terms of setup, which I need to fix pretty quickly. I think I might get this finished tonight. And if I do, that means that tomorrow night can be given over to the other two things I'm taking to Chilcon to the competition. One of them is this Plague Knight. Now I know the Plague Knight's pretty basic. She's pretty, well, I'll move that out of the way. I know the Plague Knight's pretty basic. She's very, very simply painted. But it is just a nice model. I'll put it on a nice base. And yeah, I will also tell you all how I did. Mate, honestly, it's honestly probably, I am, as many of you know, I'm very, very, very new to YouTube. One sec, Chris, I'll get back to that. I'm very, very new to YouTube, and I'm very, very new to hosting the Discord. It's only been 5 months since the channel started, so things have moved fast, and I've had to learn quick. But yes, I will get over to the Discord. I will get it fixed for everyone because I don't want you hanging around, not able to access something. Chris, what I was asking was, are you at Salute this year in London? And if anyone else in chat is at Salute this year down in London, let me know because I will be there. I'll be there actually for a couple of days in London. I'll be visiting a few people, I think, and I'll probably be at Baharoff, the Cry of Old Paints cake shop. If any of you know him, Lawrence has a cake shop now for some reason. He also apparently makes incredibly nice cakes, so I'll definitely be going and reviewing that. But Yeah, if anyone is at Salute, like I was saying earlier on, that tie into the new game that's coming out, and the whole sort of virality of how I'm trying to help them market. If you are at Salute and you come up to me and you ask me what year it is, you may get an answer. What year it is down at Salute. Not only will you get an answer, you may get a miniature for an upcoming game, as the developers have very kindly indulged me in some very crazy ideas, and one of them is giving away free stuff. Yeah, man, I'll be glad to see you down there. If you bring in the kids to ChillCon as well, I've got that cosplayer with me. Ah, right, okay, yeah, cool. Do you know what though? I reckon he'd enjoy Salute. I hope you don't mind me saying, he struck me as a little bit nervous when I met him this weekend, but I think this hobby helps people really come out their shell, and I think it will help him do the same if he is sort of a kid with that sort of disposition. Also, Chris, have you ever seen a guy called MS Paint on YouTube, Dave? Because if you have, he's at ChillCon, and he's got Hector, and he's got mini 28mm Hectors with him. Hector is a frog. Is a rather animated frog for a day. I'm glad he enjoyed the freehand class as well, or lesson, or whatever you want to call it. I keep flitting between class, lesson, demonstration, whatever. Yeah, I gathered I thought he would have enjoyed the painting more than the gameplay. So we went through the demo that we did, but I didn't go into it in a great load of detail because you don't want to overload kids with a load of information. You just let them roll dice and enjoy the game for what it is. Yeah, he seems like a nice kid, and luckily there's a very very small group that go to the outpost, of younger kids that he probably will be able to sort some games out with. Also, not outpost, sorry, Patriot have a really good community of kids around his age. For stuff like Friday Night Magic and things. So if you want to take him down there, I can't recommend Patriot enough. They're a really nice bunch of people. No worries. Anything you want to ask me, just you'll see me knocking about the outpost painting enough. Just come by and ask. Obviously, don't come up and ask me what's coming for Trench Crusade and what Thomas told you. A, because I get told nothing, and B, because if I was told anything, I wouldn't tell you anything. Right, so let's move on to this. This is really annoying. I cut down some paper earlier. I cut down one of these earlier, one of them, to fit in there to see if it would fit, and now it's stuck, and I can't get it out, and I don't want to wet it to get it out because I'll just make a mess of the model. I won't make a mess, but I'll make a mess of the surface. So I don't know if to just seal it in and spray prime it over. Spray varnish it over. But I also don't know what it will do to that blue paper to do that. So I'm quite concerned, and I'm not sure what I want to do there. Oh well, we all make mistakes. He doesn't wobble out at all. It's not coming out. So at least I know I cut it to the right size, I suppose. But yeah, bugger. I also don't know why I've told you that. I could have just never mentioned it on film and I would have been amazing. And I could have told you I freehanded that as well. It would have been an obvious lie, but you know. A lot of what I'll be doing now over the next maybe 10 minutes or so is probably just cleaning up a bit of stuff. I do need to go onto a little dry brush though, so I need to find said little dry brush as it has vanished into the void. Oh, there it is. Really good tip for dry brushes. When you're cleaning them, use a microfiber cloth. Oh, you literally put a mechanized heavy infantry on a pedestal and he fell off said pedestal. That that sounds a bit fitting, really. Yeah, clean your dry brushes off with a microfiber. Also, if you are dry brushing anything, you don't actually have a dry brush. It sounds counterintuitive. But if you just on the back of your hand with a little bit of water on your brush, just brush the back of your hand. If it feels as though it's cold rather than wet, so it's like a little bit of a temperature change, then you've got the right amount of moisture in the brush. That's because it helps the paint to leave the bristles easier. It helps with that chalkiness that you often get with dry brushes. And it also makes it a little bit further. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to tag inside the skirt there, because I do need to try and get into these areas somehow. I know I could always just cover them up with grass, I guess, but not something I want to necessarily indulge in. I could maybe put that there, something like that. So it covers up that leg. Yeah, I think that'd probably work, to be honest. Just moving stuff out of the way. Then it breaks up the visuals for that. What do you think? Do I put a big old bush at the side? I reckon I probably do, don't I? Thank you, Colonel. Thank you. I do appreciate it. I think that tiny bit of decal paper, I don't think I'm going to be able to pop it out without bending it. Oh god, because it's really in there. So that I am gonna just seal it in with varnish. That's what I'm gonna do. I am also now aware that I sound like I'm going slightly mental, so I probably will leave once I've done this so I don't completely lose my mind on a live stream. So we need contrast medium, no. Chipping medium, no. White scar, no. Do you know when you need a varnish and you're looking for said varnish and the varnish somehow disappears? Or when you're looking for any paint, actually, any paint that you really need right in that moment. And I think there's a small painting goblin that comes and steals it and you can't find it anywhere. And then it'll, like 10 minutes later, it'll put it right in front of your face and make you think you've gone crazy. I feel like there are painting goblins that steal all the things. Honestly cannot find my gloss. Well, my matte varnish, sorry. Like it's been eaten. Oh, well, anyway. Let's finish something off and then I'll go. So yeah, I'll seal that on. I am going to need a big gloop of PVA, which will take its time to come out. Yeah, I reckon the sock stealing gnomes and the paint stealing goblins wander about, and I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, some sort of cruel joke, the paint stealing gnomes stick your stuff in the washing machine, and the sock stealing gnomes like put all your socks in your paint box. Because why would you look in either of those two areas for those respective things? You wouldn't. Oops. Gone a bit gloopy. Obviously, it is going to be gloopy. It's PVA, but and then I reckon to cover that up and sort of hold it in place a bit more, I might need a tuft of that grass if I can find one, and I'm definitely running out of it. But if I can find a grass tuft to sort of hold it in place a bit better. I guess. No, it's way too green, isn't it? Don't want to put a really green piece of grass there. Oh well. That should all hold into there pretty well anyway, and just cover up that space. Probably tuck it a bit into the leg. Go and get that varnish. Give me 1 sec. I'm going to seal that in with some Storm Shield. Storm Shield's a really nice varnish paint to work with. Don't use a normal brush for it. Varnish can really clog up your brushes. So again, these little disposable brushes are really good for it. And I think with that, I'll probably call it a night there. So thank you to everyone for coming. I hope you've enjoyed this small descent into madness. And I will see you all tomorrow night. So tomorrow night, 10 o'clock. I won't be here for quite as long tomorrow because I am preparing for ChillCon the next day. And I will be having a meeting with those guys in America. They are 8 hours behind me, so I'll be up a bit late with them. Have a good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. I will see you all tomorrow night, where we'll finish off this saga of painting for ChillCon. If you join me on a stream next week or in one of the videos over the weekend, I'll try and look at what went on. No worries, mate. Thank you for being in the stream. It's been 2 hours and 15 minutes of me just rambling on and stressing over freehands. But, you know, that's the way of things. Thank you very much, everyone, and good evening. Goodbye.